I am trying to figure out how much we need to raise this here. So basically the string is the lower end of the fence. And this is the access for the feeding station. There will be some concrete blocks so that we will be higher. So basically there's a step, but we need to raise this a little bit. This is also so that the water that might come from there does not come to here, but instead goes that way. The terrain is sloped, and so here basically we need to make this corral a little bit a platform and shed the water to the right direction. And you see, I'm standing in the shade, and you see the shade here. So this is good for demonstration purposes. So this is the place for the feed and the water. So this is how it's going to be. The distance between the two strings is 90 centimeters. The fencing material is 1 meter tall, so we can bury this a little bit. And then we would stand here and reach over to provide the feed from the two barrels that will be sitting over there. So we throw it over into the feeder, and the pigs have their food, and the water sits over there. We brought in some material to work with, because it is better that this gets pushed against the fence, so that the pigs also push against the fence instead of digging under it. And yes, I need to bring in a little bit more fill here to make this a little bit a wider berm. Some plants will establish themselves there, or we put something ornamental on this side just to give the fence post there a little bit more support, and also to avoid a steep slope here. So it should be gentle. Where I am lower, so definitely we can shape this a bit and then plant something. We will see. We might even use vetiver here. Could be an option. Of course, it also requires a little bit of irrigation until it has really, really deep roots. But who knows? Something that looks nice. Maybe some flowers. We will see. And then here on the left side, between or in front of these two stones, those boulders, there will be in the future, not this year definitely, there will be a path that has a fence on both ends. It's about 1 meter wide, so the plan, and then brings the pigs to the area there to the left. So between the two fence posts, close to the second one, the shorter one, there will be the gate. And of course it will be a gate that opens automatically, and therefore this is for later. But it makes sense to level this area here in front. So I will bring in some material and place it here. But for that I need to open my pass, and right now I am simulating the fence. So you see there, I need to open so that I can pass there. So I think this is how it will look like. And now more of these cinder blocks come in front of it, so that we have a platform to walk on, and then we can reach over the fence. Things have progressed a little bit. There's now some bracing for this corner post, and there's also a little bit more dirt here, but I think I showed this already. The goose and the chicken Those are the males. They are broilers basically. They are over there. That's very nice. So they stay together. And I will now add a little bit more dirt here on this side to give this more support, and then we can plant something there in another step. And I think once we have set the fence post there at the very end, we can start to add the wire mesh, at least on this side. A little bit more progress. Now we were able to put up the first wire mesh here, and the fence posts over there, they're also in. They get some bracing. There you see the material for that, and probably a day more and this is done. Of course we need to close the gap here on this end, but this is very easy. We just add a little bit more dirt, and on this, like I mentioned before, some flowers or whatever will then grow and make this look nice. And on top of the larger ones, we want to put a sun sail so that there's another shady area. So this is coming together very well. And over here, I can show you the beginning of this little platform. You see the block where the tools are. So there will be a full row like this until the beginning here, and then another in this direction, so that we have a platform to stand on. And there will be 2 barrels with the feet. And there in the corner, once it has been completely leveled, we will install the waterer and also the feeder on their side. And then by the end of this week, we should be able to receive 7 pigs. They will spend the summer here, and by November, when the acorns fall, we open the gate on that side, and then they can fatten themselves. We'll see how this goes. This afternoon we had to run out to town for some errands, and so we could not really continue on this. You see Mr. Cat up there, but I just put this wire mesh temporarily up here. It's just connected with some wire there to hold it, and this is how it's going to look like. So tomorrow in the afternoon, I think we can finish this. So it's basically putting in the tensioners at the fence post and tension this. And over there will be a makeshift gate, a hole in the fence. So basically where the metal stick is, there will be a cut, and then the part in that direction can be temporarily removed to let the pigs in and out until this becomes a proper gate. But for the time being, this is well enough, and it should work. And down there will be an electrical string, so that the pigs also learn what an electric fence is. Don't touch it. And then the remainder of the work is to level this a little bit, move the dirt against the fence to bury it a little bit, and do this on both sides. And then this is done. So this is pretty easy. And I'm a little bit surprised how fast you can do this alone with a helper, a willing helper. So very much thank you to the helper. This has been a joy to do. And then the remaining part is to install feeder and water over there. And then we can welcome the pigs in a few days. Look who's coming here to check this out. Solo and the sheep. Animals are curious. They want to know what is going on. Something changes and they check it out. It makes me very happy that they come this way. So he is definitely interested. You can see that from all the movements, that he wants to know what that is. And they will also come here and look when the pigs are in the corral. New neighbors, so to say. I guess this should do it for now. So here we have the door where they can come in, and with that we can close it. We put all the dirt all around so that when they push against it, it will just be harder. It is still a bit makeshift, but it's not an issue. It needs to be functional and we can improve it over time. As I mentioned before, there will be a door anyway, and a path that goes in that direction later on. And on this side we can now install the furniture, which means the feeder and the waterer. And the supplier of the piglets has just been informed. So in a couple of days we can receive them here, and then we have 7 pigs. I'd like to share what I see. The clouds are looking very nice, and all the flowers and everything else that is growing at this very moment is very pleasant, and I want you to participate. So this is a nice flower bouquet, and these things here are making seeds. This is the seed that was left over, and I just threw it out here, and look what emerged. I have no intention of cutting this. The idea is that this makes seed, the seed will flow away, and then we have these grasses here in the farmyard. And of course then the maintenance starts, wherever they then go. I have no idea what exactly they are. I think that was a mix of different seeds for pradera, as they call this in Spanish, so for natural grassland. Eventually this will be leveled with more dirt, and then the reinforcements show up here. But the idea is to get biomass, biological bits and pieces, compounds into the soil, whether it is to be driven over or a field or whatever. And in here there's also something that's worthwhile sharing. See how these palovnia trees are now making bigger and bigger leaves, and they also grow taller, and you see the understory. So I deliberately did not cut anything there, and I have no intention in doing so. The idea is that this should be a little strip that develops on its own. On the other side we have a few flowers that are also growing. I will do a loop so that you can see the other side. I also let this here standing. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it doesn't matter. It is different, and therefore I allow it to grow. What I do cut here frequently is all the sizzles and other stuff. This is just biomass. Eventually this wants to be a veggie garden, but for the time being it just is to make soil. The vetiver here on the edge also started to grow, but it is still showing some signs. I don't like the cold. So when it looks purple, it means I don't like the cold. Other plants become yellow. The vetiver shows autumn colors, so the purple. But it is definitely growing. And very soon I don't have to do my maintenance here at the edge regarding the sizzles, but for now I need to be careful. Once the vetiver is stronger, that will not be a problem anymore. Of course, now I have a conflict that when I want to cut the sizzles, I might also cut the vetiver. So here is the case. So there you see the sizzles and the vetiver a little bit mixed. But the warmer it gets, the forecast talks about 29 degrees Celsius. So then the vetiver should definitely grow fast. You see here this one already made longer leaves. You have this nice mix of 3 different colors. The poppies stand out, of course. If I pan over, you see more poppies over there. That one here is a flower. Needs maybe 2 more weeks and then you can see it. Here we have the understory again. And you see, gets tall. So here I'm now on the other side of this. There is this other type of flower again. You certainly can hear in the background all the birds chirping. So this farmyard is full of life. It makes me very happy. It's a very pleasant situation that you have all the birds around. What has me worried a little bit is that the Paulownia trees here at the beginning of the row are developing. Not as good as the other ones there in the back, but the next ones here, they are much less developed and they are definitely lagging behind. And then of course there was the problem with those here that I decided to cut down so that they start fresh from below, and it's a bit weird. But then this was this problem last year in early May when we had the frost. So there is an issue. So it appears that these palovnia trees are vulnerable while they are very young. And I think I read somewhere or was told that during the first 3 years they are more susceptible to this kind of issue. And once they are bigger and stronger, it is less of a problem. So this is an important detail when it comes to running a commercial plantation for palovnia wood, which is what I would love to do, because it fits well within the idea of soil restoration and at the same time have a mid-term goal for some revenue. I should also mention, someone made the suggestion to put some stack of dead wood all around the pond. So here I placed the pieces of the palovnia trees, and then we had the fallen oak tree, and they got also placed there. So here is a little bit, and then there is some others here between these grasses. So basically the pond has now a barrier all around it with this dead wood, so that the animals can use this as shelter. Of course the frogs will jump the moment I come close, and yeah, I remember the suggestion, but I'm not trying to film frogs. It just happens when I show you something that is related. So this was implemented, to put it this way, all around this pond. And this pond will disappear, so by the end of summer we will only have a puddle at the bottom of this. But who knows how the summer goes. Maybe the summer is wet and then we have it for longer.